if you have lived many lifetimes and you say you're a chosen one, does that just mean that you've been attacked more than somebody, say, next to you that isn't a chosen one? Because that's kind of how I feel it to be. It's like, if somebody out there wants to say, oh, we're all equal and we're all the same, yeah, we are pretty much. It's just some of us had demons attacking us when we were children, and some of us didn't. Some of us had angels coming to visit us when we were little, and some of us didn't. Some of us were connected in when we were little, and some of us weren't. And some of us evolved. Some of us had people in our household saying that that's weird, that's, and shutting down our abilities because it made them feel uncomfortable, not impressed with the abilities that they saw, or were, kind of, it was a bit too much for them. So they'd shut down your abilities and say, no, I can't say anything. No, I don't think, just shut you down. I opened like a combination lock to get outside because I wouldn't have my day sleep. Like I was, pretty smart as a kid because I didn't get along at school. But that's kind of the thing, isn't it? I mean, that's 100-year-old structure that hasn't changed, and you can see with the kids coming through now, there's certain ones that are like, this is bullshit, and they see it through it straight away, and you're kind of like, just go to school, be good, do what you're told, stand up straight, follow the crowd, do this, do that. You got to sit there and be quiet. You can't argue back. You can't talk, and you got these star sides with these big bright eyes looking up at you going, or maybe even demigods. Most of the ones that are getting born at the moment are like demigods because they're here for a reason at this time. Like all of the souls that are coming through to the planet, they're older than, say, if you're born in 1960, the souls that were born in 1980 coming into the planet, they were actually older. And now, like, apparently a lot of the kids are pretty lit. And that's just beautiful. But majority of the ones coming through the hospital system at the moment are. And that's why you've got to be really aware of our bodies. If we're anywhere on this planet and say we're back to nature, bare bones back to nature, get bitten by something, within 3 meters of you is the antidote to that. You've got to know what it is, obviously. I think you could be guided with your psychic abilities into whatever you needed. It's even one of the Psalms. I read somewhere recently, I got invited to a religious group. I don't know why. Probably to get me to, I don't know, I don't care. I didn't even really pay attention. That was just one of the first posts I read was, you either believe the Bible, you got to believe it all, or you believe none. And it's like, no, that's not true. Any leader, guru, whatever that tries to tell you I am the only way and the light and blah, blah, blah. Yes, Christ consciousness is. Christ is, because he is in all of us. We all possess Christ consciousness from Christos oil, blah, 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 blah. Turn around as any kind of guru, whether you be a spiritual teacher or anything, you've got to turn around and say, this is my objective view. It's not verbatim. It's not I get handed the Bible, which I know a lot about. Like I grew up Catholic. Believe that there are some things in there that are true. I also believe that there are some manipulations in the Bible that just aren't true anymore. They're just not even true facts. But they even sneak things in there. Like they have Mazzaroth in there. That means astrology. The whole Gregorian system has been charted on astrology. So I asked my new friends that invited me to the Facebook group, possibly to try to unveil me for being some devious Christian hater. I say, onward, Christian soldiers. Like, we've got a, if you've got a beautiful, good heart, that's what matters. And I'm divinely protected. And I'm close to God. And I find it an insult that you have tried to place yourselves as a separation between the people and God. Just saying. At the moment, within your structures, you have one way to access the divine God, which, interestingly enough, you stand that person up on an altar. Aren't you against altars, or just altars in the home? You're allowed to have them in the church, but it's the same thing. You have this shit's for the devil. Crystals, meditation, supernatural gifts, divination, numerology, astrology. Whereas astrology is in the Bible, you've hidden the name by calling it Mazzaroth. Your leader stands on an altar. You invoke the Holy Spirit, yet you say invoking deities is incorrect. Sage, no. There's smudging in the Bible. Law of attraction. You guys speak things into existence. Spell work. What exactly is the Book of Psalms? What is it? Rituals. You at the church are eating the body and blood of Christ, which I would think is quite the opposite to godly, really. You're eating somebody's body and blood because I understand what you say. He gave up his sins for us. And I can see so many people across the planet getting demonized by your very same religion. And I know firsthand that there's a lot of evil within your churches of people who be faking being good people, and charities that are not charitable. I mean, the person at the top is doing very well, but are the people who are supposed to be getting the scraps of food and things like that, are they getting what they're supposed to be getting? Because I know for a fact that there was a leader that decided to target me for all the wrong reasons. Anybody in your congregation really needs to have a good look through everything and just make sure you really are of God. Because not only do I feel that this person is so false that they're not passing the money on to the places where it's needed, and they're living quite lavishly themselves, I also know that, say you got 100 churches within your diocese area, okay? And you're a pastor, you want everybody to go to your church. So you strike up a deal. But who do you strike up this deal with? Would it be God? No, you can't strike up a deal with God. If you and the 100 churches nearby you are all doing the same thing and offering the same thing, what's going to make them want to go to your church? After the deal's been struck with the devil, what's the cost? 4 or 5 members of the congregation every year to be sacrificed. I can't even believe that happens in our world. Oh, I know that it was pushed towards me. I know. but I'm still here. You know who I feel for? All the ones that aren't, because you chose to do that. Sorry, this is Capricorn. Institutions are getting exposed all over the world at the moment. Up until January 20th of this year, expect to hear a lot more that's just going to make your stomach curl. And if anybody from the particular congregation where you recognise me, you followed me for a particular reason, now you're questioning yourselves on why you did it or why you felt you had to. I know why. Psychics. You don't like psychics, do you? Yet you have prophets speaking in the church, out the church. You have prophets speaking. What's the difference? Straight faced, what's the difference? Reading out the Psalms, what's the difference between that and spell work? I had my first experience with the demon. I'd moved into a new home, didn't have any spirits in it. So maybe that was why they were able to come in. I remember when I was planning to do something really bad the next day. I was planning to go do something with my girlfriends. We planned it for ages and it was not good. We were being bad little kids, you know, teenagers, I'd say by that time. Do you know who came to me and told me off the very night before? The devil himself. Yelled at me. Oh, the pain in my ears. I got scolded. Why by him? One thing I know with our universal laws, natural laws, they're all going to be upheld. How did you think that you'd be able to get away with sacrificing members of your congregation and get away with it? Because the thing is, I may have been some sort of saving grace for you as a sacrifice because of the polarity, but really, it's the age of Aquarius. You can't reach divine beings. And you've given up your own divinity through your evilness. Do you realize the light and the dark, both uphold the laws, the natural laws of this universe? And because so many people are calling trespass and demanding restitution for what they've been put through, not only by religions, we're talking the societies, we're talking everything. All the old structures that thought energies on the planet just don't just support your secrecy anymore. So as long as you're prepared for everybody to know everything, feel free to continue as you are. But that's why the fight's been so hard, because you know you can't. Nothing will be the same. But what gets me is that you can convince people that crystals, beautiful crystals that God, Mother Gaia, Mother Earth, even if they're just pretty little rocks, how could you be telling people that they're evil? How could you have it written in a book that's been rewritten thus many times since its inception, since the scribes, since the initial scribing from old texts, like supernatural gifts, divination? You know, you've got people in some of these churches shaking on the floor like, oh, I cannot say that I have met, anybody that wanted to cover themselves in the blood of Jesus, they didn't have some isms. You know what I mean? Like, what I'm getting at is, you claim spiritual people. And spiritual, I mean, it goes back a lot longer than, I would consider that you're actually the New Age, not the spiritual people in the New Age. But, you know, that's just from a primordial standpoint. But you don't seem to do a lot different to what we do. Your use of herbs. You guys have holy oil, and that's olive oil and herbs. Yoga. Oh yes, stretching the body. That's definitely going to let some demons in, isn't it? Stretching our bodies. Or using, but don't worry, I mean, it's not just religion who's done it. See, that's a powerful mudra. God power, like putting your hands in that kind of position, or that kind of position, your creation. Everything in this, which I did before, I'll do again, is just protecting your aura. Don't let your congregation have that. Better lie to them about that. Like, I know the power of Jesus. He's an ascended master, and he is the light of the world. Ascended masters have lit up the world as well. So he's our brother, isn't he? Only black man in Jerusalem at the time, but he was. I am sorry for my certain disrespect in some ways. I do have reverence. It's strange though. It's like when you have a look at the snake in the cathedral, you have a look at the pattern when you're looking down structures in Italy. I had an Italian man follow me and chase me and try to, you know, intimidate me. What I got put through was bullshit. But even worse to that, it had only been a little while earlier that I'd been in contact with this wizard. He was using some archaic measures on a starseed, like pretty archaic to be, yeah, I don't even want to say what he did. However, I do want to say, girls, be careful, okay? And if anyone tries to pay for you to go somewhere or do something, like, just be a bit sketchy on it. Check it out. Use your inner knowing. You know what's right, what's wrong, especially the starseeds. It was about 20 minutes worth of conversation with this warlock, and I was like telling him everything. Yeah, I came, you know, like, I've come from here in the world, and he was trying to get my star signs and stuff, you know, placements out of me. Don't go giving your birth charts out online. I wouldn't. I don't. No. You know, why would you? If you know, you just know. It's your private details anyway. And you've got these idiots across the world that think, I'm going to swap destinies. Like, yeah, right, mate. You could try it. Go for it. Just, yeah. I don't think some people are aware of the protection some of the divine beings across the planet have. And each of us can be a divine being. Just get closer to God. Don't do evil things to people. Like, people that should be able to connect with each other quite easily can't, because, oh, that one said 1111. Oh, the numbers, bleh. You know, like, yeah, God's got to be able to interact with us. And he might put numbers in front of you. He might not. I know that particular people have been harassed by numbers. Shit that they've been doing to people that's just not right. Truly. One girl, the first time she'd ever had God speak to her was just stop. It was just leave this person alone. Didn't speak to this lady to say you're doing a great job. It was, no, you're attacking your chosen one. Leave her alone. Do not touch my anointed. And just because we're not in the church, because the church is actually full of evil and really unhappy people. Sorry, I'm just saying it how it is. Like all those women that get together and, you know, cast spells with their words, and just, oh, you can even see the looks on their judgmental pusses. Like, honestly, I would say the difference between a spiritual person and a religious person is a spiritual person has been to hell and made it back, and a religious person fears hell. You know, the spiritual person that's been to hell and made it back from hell? I look at that, like, I'm noticing, and I can't help but notice this. They look happy, like they've got joy, they've got happy in their hearts because they've got balance. You can't be all one way in this world. I was a real, like, good person that was just living from my heart center at one point, but I was kind of forced into it because my counterpart was the darkness. So I was the light. It's just how it worked out. You can't be all one way. And I bet that's never happened to many people that go to devout church all the time and judge everybody else quite harshly. And I'm judging back, okay? It's just a projection. I'm just a mirror. And I guess maybe you're just a mirror to me, and you can't take it. You can't cast spells against it like it's been done. I know that I got on the phone to one of my Christian friends. Christian she was. And I told her I was happy. Because I was. I just felt like the weight of the world was off my shoulders. Why? Why did I feel like that? Because I'd gotten out of a relationship that was debilitating. I got away from my handler. She wasn't happy for me. She was jealous. The bitch started casting spells on me for ages afterwards to make sure I didn't find love, because she saw in the cards that she pretended she was playing solitaire with that I was going to find love and be happy. She's like, no, that she's got enough. She shouldn't get to be happy. I've got enough, do I? Do you know the type of life I've lived? Do you know what I've gone through in my life? Do you have any idea what it means to go to hell and back? Yeah, maybe you do. Maybe you do. That particular girl, maybe she does, but she's on medication from the doctors now that makes her just not give a fuck about what she's doing, and makes it she's easily taken over by demons. But you know what? Ironically, she wrote, oh, if it's a demon has taken over you, you're not responsible. No, you're responsible. As an adult, we're responsible for our healing. We're responsible for what we do to other people. And demons are not responsible for your actions. If you allowed them to take control of you, you're responsible. And don't ever think that you won't be held responsible when the time comes. The fact of the matter is, between the light and the dark, yes, you've got to remain balanced. But if you're not doing it from your heart, we're all coming to judgment anyway, you know? None of us are going to escape that. And just the fact of people calling trespass. I call trespass against all those spells you put on me, love, and your mates. All of them. And I return them too. I guess you've noticed that by now. I guess you've all noticed that. Anybody from the religion, anybody from that kind of sector that just thought, she's happy? I just don't like that chick. Don't worry, I've had that on me for years. I've had that on me since birth. This something about that chick, just don't like her, you know? Like, and that's how I'd get met by people. I'm aware that that was a spell. I'm aware that it was. I cannot. I even forgive. Because now I know. And this is my affirmation. This is my knowing. There is no energy or force on this earth that is stronger than mine. I implore you to feel the same way. I implore you to speak life into yourself. I implore you to, instead of trying to put spells on other people and fuck up other people's lives, that you put spells on yourself for goodness, for good things to happen in your life, instead of your life being so shit. Like, if you're unhappy in yourself, ripping another person down is not going to be what assists you or ascends you. It's a joke. Wake up to yourself, and when you wake up in the morning, don't think, what can I do to fuck her day? Because you touched nothing. Like, honestly. Yes, I'm aware of it. How? But, oh yeah, some went through to level me up. Thanks for that. And that's going to be a good thing. All these people that think they can control other people's lives malevolently, like go bury shit and in Gaia, our earth, and think that, sorry, or attach dark entities to people. Aggregors, I had one sent to me, an aggregor, and I went, you want me to feel shame? I don't feel shame. Carry on. That was an aggregor. To, instead of being consumed by things like aggregors that will turn into entities, question, who does this belong to? This isn't my energy. What do I need to feel shame for? I've got no reason for shame. I haven't done anything to be ashamed of. And anything that I do feel ashamed of, I'll confess my sins to God. I won't have them taken over by an aggregor. But so many people in the church are quite happy for you to attach them to them. And they have no knowledge of it. It was like when I was little, I had a demon come at me. After my interaction with the church. No, guys, I reckon you might need to level up a bit, because we all want to be close to God. So religion must stay. But how can you do it better so that there's not so much darkness in the church? There needs to be more light. If it is a place of love and, yeah. All the spells casted at me by yous now. That ain't the devil's symbol. That's a return to sender. Everything that was sent my way, dissolve it. You get what you give. And you don't get upset. And toughen up, princess, just like we had to. Anyway, moving forward. I've got some joyful things to talk about tonight. I don't want to focus on this shit anymore. Thank you.